So the big question is this: how do small businesses like yours, who feel like you're doing all the right things and going to all the right events, reach the federal buyer in a way that helps you win more contracts? That is the question, and this is the place to get your answers. My name is Neil McDonnell. Welcome to the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. Okay, let's get started. Today, I want to talk to you about HHS and forecast. How do you identify opportunities that are coming out in the next year? Generally, is what we're talking about, but you can also use this for a forecast for multiple years out. So let's pop over to the HHS website. Their main website here is hhs.gov, and you can find a lot of good information on here. And if you drill down, you can find the site that I'm going to take you to, but I just have the tab open already. But I wanted to point this out for a big reason is when you're going after business in HHS or any agency, definitely take a look at whatever section on their website they have about them. So here, the strategic plan is my most favorite place to go. Budget and performance tells me what's going on, what are some of the challenges, and what are some of their goals. When you look at those, you really get a good understanding of an agency and you're able to contribute to their success. The other thing I really like is if you go into contacting someone at HHS, you really have no excuse for not being able to find and trying to contact someone out there. Here they have their leadership, contact information, small business staff, the head of contracting activities and key contracting officers, and so on all the way down. So there's a lot of capability they provide to reaching folks. And just take the time to understand an organization, or in this case, HHS in particular. So let's go over here to the small business website. This one's hard to say, but if you want to try to remember it, it's mysbcx.hhs.gov. And then coming over here, this is their forecast. You see all sorts of stuff. The OSDBU office, the Office of Small and Disadvantaged Business Utilization has a lot of stuff on the left-hand side for you to look at. But today I want to be talking about the HHS Forecast of Opportunities. And in here, the search, again, it's really an interesting thing, just the way they designed it. But here's my tip for you. Just type in HHS, right? And get all the results back. Whatever their filters are just a little too tough to look at. And if you want to look at some of the filters, you can look at it here, but I'm not even going to walk you through that path, because my recommendation to you, because this is not easy to use. There's over almost 1,200 records. And so how do you go through that easily? And my recommendation is to export the results. So over on the right-hand side, you just click on export, and you'll see down at the bottom, it's asking you, do you want to open it or save? I'll save this because it exports kind of weird and it won't open unless I can actually save it. So let me pause for a second. I'm going to save it and then I'll bring it up. Okay, so I just saved it. Let's go ahead and take a look at it right here in the background. Before we get started, I just want to give you a couple of tips. You see me resizing the columns, definitely do that. But here's some tips I do really quick to just make searching and accessing this data a lot easier for me. The first thing I do is I go over to View in Excel and I say to freeze the top row. The reason I do that is so that I can always see the header row. That's really important. And then the second thing I do, if I go back to the Home tab, is I throw on filters. So I come over here and I just click on Filter. And now I have the ability to filter anything I wanted to. So right away, when I come in, I see the period of performance and I see this 2019 date. So I want to get rid of that. And it just tells me that there's a lot of outdated stuff in here. So I'm going to say, show me newest to oldest. And then I'm going to hide everything that's not basically 2021. So let me scroll down here pretty fast. It's a lot of data. Scrolling down, see how much of this is just outdated and old. Now you could follow up on some of these opportunities that might be expiring in the coming year. But what I'm really looking for is just the forecast of items that are coming up in 2021. And so let's just say January, right to here. Did I get it? I missed one there. So I'm going to go ahead and hide these basically 790 opportunities. I'm not going to delete them yet because I might use them in a second and I'll show you. But right away, I hid those and I've got a much smaller group that I want to see. Next thing I do is I see this contract field. I don't care at all, so I want to get rid of it. It's not necessary for me to see the contract type while I'm trying to find opportunities. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that. And let me pause right now. By the way, I own everything that's in here. So I'm going to change this to pop start. I'm going to change this guy to pop end. And now when I double click on it, I shrink the windows even more. And then here, see this contracting officer division. I don't care about that at all because it doesn't help me on it. I don't care which component of HHS has the opportunity. My first thing is just to find the opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that guy. So now I'm scrolling it down. I'm going to come back to you in a minute and talk to you about the points of contact, which is the hugest or the best value in here, I think, among so many other things, because you can follow up and ask them a lot of questions. But here, I'm looking at the pop start date. You could come in here and say, well, I only want my NAICS. I don't recommend that. And here's why. If I do software development, I say, show me only the NAICS code for software development, then I'll miss out on a lot of opportunities. For example, the Navy uses 541330, I think, as systems engineering for their software development. Somebody might put it anywhere, and the NAICS code doesn't really help me at all. I know people can look at it, and that's great. You can use that as an also looked at. But me, when I look at these now, I just took 1,200 opportunities, and let me just get rid of January for a second. And if you look at the bottom left hand of my window, you'll see that there's 1,125 records total, and I have 309 of them. Hold on, I'm going to add January back in and hit OK. 331 opportunities. And here's my recommendation. Scroll through it. It's only 330 rows for me to scroll through and see what's there. Now, I did sort it by NAICS code because often you'll find a lot of the same things, are logically aligned in there. So, for example, if I'm in software development, I can quickly look at all this construction type stuff, renovation, HVAC, whatever, and go, that's not me. And as I move forward, I can see it. But just coming on down really fast, I'm able to see certain things that fit and don't fit for me. And so right here, I see things like annual support maintenance. Well, it's in a different area, right? But it's 511210, which is definitely one of the NAICS codes I might use. Here's another one on Salesforce. So say you do Salesforce, which is basically a customer relationship management software as a service platform. Say that's your world. Well, this is ideal. You want to be talking about it. Or if you're in IT, another reason this is good is because now you can come over here to Sandra Toledo and you have this person's email, and sometimes you have their phone number, but you certainly have their email, which is a great start. And you can reach out and say, well, I don't do Salesforce, but I do Jira or something else that's out there that might be bought and sold by the same people. Bought by the same people. And so having the point of contact for something that's in your space allows you to follow up. So anyways, my recommendation is to filter it out the way I did and just scroll down here, find what you think might be a fit for you. And by doing that, you quickly, the way I recommend doing it, I quickly weed out all the ones that don't apply to me and the ones that do. Like you see all these 5412s starting to get into my space, or 541, 519, and 512. I'm able to see them. Here's some licensing ones. I don't do licensing, but I do services. Well, I could talk to them. Same thing for whatever your platform is. And this is an interesting one, right? A lot of what this tells me right away is that in HHS, they're doing a lot of their purchasing, it looks like, under 541519. Initially, I thought it was just licensing, right? But then here's monetization planning that's in there. Here's CPIC support. Some of these other ones, those are infrastructure. Here's program management, integration, program management support. So it looks like a lot of their IT services are bought with 519. And so I can pursue that further. Anyways, long story short, you can see this whole group. It doesn't take long to get to the bottom. I'm at the bottom and I've been able to see everything that's in their forecast. The other big thing about this is that I've got these points of contact. Sorry about that. I've got these points of contact. Now I can begin to follow up with them. Let me sort this really quick. So here you can see a whole bunch of them have phone numbers. Now, well, there's a whole bunch of phone numbers, but they're actually for like 4 or 5 people, which is fine. You can tell that a lot of these people are in a certain space. But this one's interesting. If you're in facility support, there's the director of facilities management. So they've got Jerry out there as the point of contact for everything. And you've got 50 different numbers for him, which is interesting. But following up and seeing what's out there is a great way to just check on the opportunities that are available and the opportunities that are going to be coming down the pike. So one last thing I wanted to point out on the forecast, and I know I'm going pretty fast, but you can just, it's not a training, it's more of just a tip for you here. But I filtered out everything that wasn't 2021. So if I switch it and say, show me everything 2021 now, and let me just reverse this here. So I filtered this to say, show me when these pops are ending. And what I can do is come in here and say, well, show me anything that's ending in 2021, right? So theoretically, this stuff is coming up in the next few years. And actually, let me get rid of this filter completely on the start. Now I'm just saying, show me the end dates. And there's 656. I do that same exercise. And you can decide, you feel free to use the NAICS codes if you want. Me, I don't, because it takes less than an hour maximum for me to scroll through and look at things and go, service agreement for water premier system. That's not me. I don't even have to read the whole line, right? And I'm sure you're just as good. Program project management. Okay, that attracts me. Let me highlight it as yellow and say, come back to it, whatever. But right here, I can see it's going to expire in 12/20/21. So, this might be an extension. It might have an option year coming out. But my next call is to this person here, to Hillary, to be able to just get an update, right? You know how to do capture and business development to validate the opportunity as a qualified opportunity and a live opportunity. You could be checking in and saying, hey, I saw this in the forecast. I don't see, which is interesting, I don't see a contract number, award number, whatever you want to call it, tied to this. Some agencies do that and make it easy on themselves so that we go do our homework. But you could just reach out and say, what is that? So I can look at USA spending or whatever and see when it's truly expiring. Anyways, that's a bunch of different ways to pop through on this forecast. I hope that tip makes sense, and I hope you found it valuable, because I really think others will too, on how do you quickly look at a forecast, find the opportunities that fit for you. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to connect with me personally, do so on LinkedIn. We often do free training webinars that expand on topics like this, or we interview federal buyers. We'd like to bring you that content. So sign up for the GovCon Chambers email list to be notified about these opportunities right here at www.govconchamber.com. And finally, please consider becoming a sustaining member of the GovCon Chamber of Commerce. Help us keep bringing you great content like this for $1 a day. I'm Neil McDonnell, wishing you great success.